So we're going to be looking at taking a hand sketch that's been photographed and trying to recreate it in a vector form. It's a very common workflow that you need to practice. So I'm just going to create a print A4 document, landscape, one artboard. So there's my document. Now the first thing I need to do is place my sketch. So this is a hand sketch that's been photographed. So File, Place, and let's go and find it, sketch. Now, I'm not going to link it, and I could say template here, which will make it a trace layer underneath my work, but I'm going to show you how you can do that manually as well. So I'm going to leave that off, place, and I'm going to drag out my sketch across the whole artboard. Okay, there it is. Now in my layers, you can see it's just in layer 1. So I'm going to double click next to layer 1 here, and I'm going to say make it a template layer, and I'm going to call it reference. You could call it trace or whatever. And you can see that it kind of grays it out and it locks it, and it gets a special icon here with telling you that this is a trace layer or a template layer. I'm going to add a new layer on top, and I'm going to call this sketch. And now I'm going to start actually tracing this. Now you can use whatever tools work for you. I would suggest the pen tool number 1 and then possibly the pencil tool number 2. So I'm going to start this and then I will speed it up so you don't have to watch the whole thing. But I'm going to start with this G, and don't be scared of overlapping lines because we can fix that later. What you want to be careful of is leaving gaps. So I'll start up here. And I'm going to undo that. I'm going to set my fill to none, and I'll set my stroke to red so that I can see it and make it 2 points in weight. All right, so I'll start here. And remember, with any paths, it's minimum points, maximum detail. Okay, now here I'm going to overlap like that. And then hold down Alt and click back here to remove the handle, and then I'll go back. And then Alt to take that away there, and then Alt or Option there. Okay, let's do these. These are pretty much straight lines. Okay, and then let's do the rest of this G. So straight line there. Okay, and this is just really pen tool practice. Okay, so I'm not going to do the rest of it. It's just going to take too long, but I've done 3 letters there. So what I want to show you is where you go from here. So I'm going to hide that reference layer. So we've just got these 3 letters here. So what you want to do is you want to create shapes inside these letters. Now, you might have gone over and overlapped in a lot of places. So what you're going to do is select everything. You're going to go to your shape builder. That is this one here. And then what you want to do is remove the parts that are overlapping. So I'm just going to drag from here into there and into there to combine those together, and then into here. Okay, and then here, I believe that the E overlaps like that. Okay, so I've got all the overlapping that I want. Now, in order to create the shapes, I select the whole thing and I go Object, Live Paint, Make, and then go to my Live Paint bucket, and now I can select colors. Okay, and I'm just going to choose some different colors just to fill, so you can see that when I go over these areas it highlights them. So I'm going to click here to create the G, And then I'm going to take a different color. I'm going to use bright colors that are different just so that you can see how this works. And click. And then for the E, let's use these ones. Okay, so now if I go back to my selection tool, this is still a live paint object. So I'm going to press expand. And then I'm also going to go ungroup all. So now you can see I've actually got these shapes that are really nicely organized. I can even take this outline and delete it. Oops. Let me actually just select similar, delete. And now I've got these shapes that are really nicely structured that I can work with. So this is a good way of working. Do your basic pen tool work and then use your shape builder to merge pieces together that you need to. Select the whole thing, make it a live paint object, and use your live paint bucket to fill those areas to create those shapes. And that's a good way of taking a sketch and vectorizing it with optimized paths.